Hey, it worked. All right, Stream Deck, thank you for working. And we're back. Oh man, everything died. This is what happens when we don't stream for like 3 weeks. Is that all of the technical stuff, all the production stuff on the back end, just freaking dies. Like it dies a horrible death.
Yeah,
Yeah. How's
yeah.
your work been, Jay? I
I
did
mean, I just came back from vacation, so it's been pretty good.
I did see the I love that AI picture you had drawn of my wife.
Oh my God. That, yeah, that was kind of funny.
Who did
Uh,
that?
so it was like a group of us, like myself, Jess was in the room, and then someone else. And yeah, we were just kind of like doing AI pictures of everyone, and we're like, how would we describe your wife? And I was like, kind of like the chaotic squirrel from like the end of the ice age like animation movies, like, but instead of breaking everything, like she's just running around desperately trying to fix it, but she's in an office and everything's on fire. And then that's what like the AI came out with, and I was like, dang, there you go.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's
Yeah.
absolutely fair. Um, Marvel's Ironheart is in our little quick hits here at the beginning. I watched the first couple episodes. Um,
Oh.
I will. Actually, I'm going to throw up our spoilers tag real quick. After all that time where everybody was like, when are they going to bring in Mephisto, 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 and everybody's like, in WandaVision, in Agatha, da da da. Nope, we got Mephisto. He's in there. Now, I think the casting of Mephisto is phenomenal. I love who they got to play Mephisto. Do you know who they got to play Mephisto?
Yeah, I have not seen any of this. Like I saw the previews and I was like, looks kind of lame.
It's
Then I haven't watched it.
it's not the worst thing they've come up with. That still goes to Secret Invasion. It's Sacha Baron Cohen.
Oh, okay.
I was like, that's some good casting right there. That's some really good stuff. Um, yeah, and I know I saw the Fantastic Four trailer. I saw the new Superman. I've been seeing a lot of Superman cuts. The Superman marketing is going hard right now.
Oh my God. On the plane to and from vacation, you know how like they have like the little like icon that shows you
Yeah.
like how close you are? Like it's like 10%, 20%, 50%. Um, yeah, the icon was actually the Superman logo, like going like across like the bottom of the screen.
That's some product placement right there. I like that.
And they forced you to watch a Superman trailer before watching any movie on the plane, even if you like had Wi-Fi and just like had your own tablet shit. They forced you to watch a Superman trailer.
Speaking of which, we're going to Superman in 5 days.
We're gonna go to Superman, to the actual Superman.
To a Superman movie in 5 days. We have early release tickets on July 8th, and we
Yep.
will, I promise folks, we will film a review that night. I think we're going to do it like Thunderbolts we tried to do live and it got goofy, and then we actually recorded our review and spoiler talk that night. And I actually think it was a little better when we just recorded it. So I think, especially since it's on a Tuesday, it's not a normal stream night for us. We will record um, our review and spoiler talk of the Superman movie after we get back from it on Tuesday. YouTube seeing Sacha Baron Cohen is god tier casting for Mephisto. The real question is with this show doing so badly is, are we going to see him back ever again? And
Probably not.
probably not. Um, you know, um, yeah, I doubt we're gonna see it. I I really really doubt we're gonna see it. So, um, but yeah, I am excited to go see it. It is July. We're getting some stuff, and they actually did a good screen unseen last week, and they did Jurassic World Rebirth
Oh,
for the screen
oh
unseen last Monday. And,
wow.
and I'm mad I couldn't make it because I was like, screen unseen. Finally, you guys do something decent for screen unseen, and now I can't go. Although
Yeah.
I've not heard good reviews about Jurassic World Rebirth.
Uh, I mean, come on. It's almost like the same storyline almost every single time. Like how I don't know, how can you make that like an original story again? Unless you do something really weird
Look,
like
I don't
Jason and
I don't think you need an original story. I think you need a decent story because everybody will watch dinosaurs eat people. Okay?
yeah, that's true.
Dinosaurs eating people is fun.
Dinosaurs, giant robots, kaijus, yeah, all of that are like pretty solid.
Don't forget ninjas.
Oh my god.
You know
That
what?
one's bad dog dad. Bad dog dad.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Uh,
You know what we haven't had in a good long while though is a good ninja movie. We need a good ninja movie. I want crazy ninjas again.
yeah. Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
I did not go see Elio. Somebody's bringing that up in the YouTube chat. I have heard very mixed reviews of that. I did see the How to Train Your Dragon remake in live action with my daughter on Father's Day. I think she took me. And it was good. It was solid. But we're gonna talk more about movies later and how I'm all mad at you about movies later in the show. Okay, so stick around for that because I'm actually there are some movie people that I want to kick in the face.
Oh my god.
Just saying.
Here we go.
Just saying. And we're already at the point where they won't let me promote this video because I always try. And how many times have we been denied by YouTube on YouTube promotion?
I really don't understand that. I
Every
really
time.
honestly
They
I
really
don't understand that.
they kicked the crap out of us on this. Anyway, before we jump into the first topics, thank you all. It's the Error Code Show for July 3rd. Your place for news, pop culture, politics, gaming, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. If you want to support the show and you have Amazon Prime and you're watching us on Twitch, you get one free Twitch sub. One free one for having an Amazon Prime membership if you link it. And you could use that on us, and we would really, really appreciate it. It's a great way to support the channel. Also, we're marching our way to 1,000 subs, which lets us open up monetization and do stuff and maybe get to the point where Jay and I can quit our jobs and do this more, which would be cool. Build a big compound and do neat shit, right? And have like a cool studio. So help us get there. Share it with your friends. It really does help when you hit that little share button and share it to any of your social medias. Liking on all the videos really helps, even if you only watch for like a minute. Hitting that like button. We got to beat the algorithm gods, okay? And the algorithm gods are evil, okay? While we're getting into that, if you have any topics that you would like to see us talk about today, and you're like, hey, talk about this, go ahead and throw them into the chat, and we will try and get to them at the end of the show. Toward the back half of the show, we will take your comments and questions and try and do some fun stuff. With that out of the way, let's jump into our first segment tonight. Jay, take us away.
Yes. So, I'm just coming back from vacation. I don't really know what's going on in the world, because I was pretty much out in the middle of nowhere. To give you an idea, I was an hour and a half away from the closest AMC, so I could not go see the new F1 movie, and I was pretty sad about that.
It's a bummer.
Here. But anyway, so I thought we would start off with a happy topic, just getting back into the groove of things. It's been 3 weeks, the world's on fire, I guess. So let's yeah, something that's not going to like make us all super depressed. So, anyways, large scale layoffs have been happening across like the gaming division of Microsoft. In total, Microsoft has laid off recently about 9,000 employees. This also means the cancellation of 2 high-profile games that have been in development for a very long time. Rare's Everwind and the initiative's reboot of Perfect Dark. Alex, have you heard of these games? Were you waiting for these games?
I was not particularly waiting for these games. Perfect Dark is a classic series that they used to have. I was kind of looking forward to a reboot of it. I'd heard of it, but I wasn't like jumping over the world about it. I don't know anything about it. Rare is dead. Like, I hate to say it, but Rare as a studio is toast.
Well, also, the Initiative studio was shut down. This studio was formed back in 2018, and they actually never released a video game. Other companies hit hard with layoffs recently. Blizzard, Call of Duty's developer, Raven Software. They're currently working on Black Ops 7. Forza Motorsport developer Turn 10 laid off close to 50% of their employees. Elder Scrolls Online developer ZeniMax with a Z, online studios canceled an unannounced, massively kind of exciting multiplayer game, supposedly. I don't know. They didn't announce it, but Doom creator John Romero was working on a new first-person shooter game, apparently for Microsoft, which has lost funding, meaning we will probably never see it. But yeah, everything that I just listed has been owned and operated by Microsoft. So I ask this question to you. Why is Microsoft buying like half of the gaming market just to kill anything? Or are they even good at running gaming studios? What are your thoughts?
I'm going to start with your second question first. And the answer is, are they good at running game studios? No. Case in point was Bungie.
Yeah.
Which, yeah. Bungie 343. I don't know how that whole back and forth with all those Anyway. No, they're not good at running gaming studios. They're just not. And I don't know what's happening over at Xbox. I saw some of the strategy when they were like, again, they were buying up Bethesda. They're buying up all this stuff. Like, okay, we're going to do this with Xbox, and we're going on this live journey. And I, for a long time, was a proponent of Xbox Game Pass, okay? For a long time, I was a proponent of it. I thought it was a great deal. I don't anymore. I don't know what they're doing over at the Xbox division. It boggles the mind. I don't know what the strategy is. There seems to be no rhyme or reason for it. I really can't. I can't put it all together. Now, it may have something to do with this, and I brought this article up on IGN, and I thought about what we were going to do as a separate segment, but you know what? Now I think we'll just loop it in here. IGN, oops, hang on, let me fix one thing real quick. IGN has basically said that Gen Z, well, it's an article, basically, younger Americans are spending way less money on video games, 25% less on video games than this year than last year. Now, no, never mind. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm sorry, Wall Street Journal. You don't understand why these kids are buying less games. You don't. It's not just economic woes, okay? Honestly, video games are one of the cheapest forms of entertainment, dollar to hour of entertainment out there, right? You buy a $60 game, you can milk that mother for a lot of entertainment. That's not why. I'll tell you why. It's just not a lot of good stuff out there right now. The gaming industry is in kind of a drought, right? Like, what was the last game, Jay, that you were really, and I mean super hype about?
Super hyped about, or like super obsessed with?
Hyped about. You're like, man, I'm buying that day one. I want to take a day off work. Let's go. I'm not waiting for it to go on Steam sale. I'm not waiting till somebody recommends it to me before I become obsessed with it after I start playing. No, this game is coming and I want to jump over the moon to play it right now.
Cyberpunk.
And let's see here. What year did
Cyberpunk? I legit built a gaming PC.
Yeah. And when did that game come out? I could tell you 5 years ago.
5 years ago, okay.
5 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
Some of the YouTube chats ask if IGN other periodicals are still relevant. Somewhat. I would say they're still somewhat relevant. I still get a lot of good rundown stuff from them, so I'll give IGN credit. I'll be honest. The hype's just not there right now. We occasionally get like a brief cultural moment, like with Helldivers.
Yeah, that
right?
was good.
Where everybody kind of jumps into Helldivers for a little while and then it goes away, right? But honestly, what's everybody excited about?
See, I'm not I'm not entirely sure if that's it. I think we are just like massively overstimulated.
Could be.
And I say that because I remember when I was younger playing console games, I mean, I would sit there and put in probably 100 hours for fucking games that I might not even buy today. And I think there's just so much content 24/7 of new game, new game, new game. This is on sale. This is on sale. This is on sale. Like I legit have like, a Steam library of games, 200 games,
Mhm.
probably 50% I've never played. Um, Completing a game is like impossible now. And I could
Hard.
say like, oh, well, I'm an adult now, right? Like I have a job, like I have responsibilities. But I don't think that's it. I think I go to work and I look at the 1,000 unread emails I have, and I'm in like 5 or 6 like family group chats on social media. No offense, guys. Um, Text chats, insert whatever other social media BS. By the time I get home, like I kind of want to like unplug from the matrix for a little bit. Like it's just too much. Like everything is always new all the time.
And yeah, absolutely. And again, I think it's younger people are playing less games. People our age are more picky about the games they play and the ones they invest time into. I can tell you in the last year and a half, there's probably 4 games I've invested more than a few hours into. Right? Um, and it's hard to grab me these days. Again, so the sales numbers, I mean, again, 25% year over year drop in 18 to 29-year olds, right? Which is a big part of their market, right? Means I would not be shocked if Microsoft and other gaming companies are having some really hard financial times right now, right? So these kind of layoffs, again, very, very sad, but not surprising to me at all. And again, I think that Microsoft specifically, when it comes to Xbox, they've kind of lost their way, right?
Mhm.
Like they had some clear direction in the Xbox, the 360. The Xbox One was a absolute misstep. It was an absolute misfire during that console generation. They knew it. They did it from the jump. They screwed it up at the gate. And honestly, I don't know if Xbox ever recovered from the absolute debacle that was the Xbox One's launch.
Mm.
Right? That thing went down in gaming history as one of the absolute worst console launches you could do. Right? Connect is necessary. You have to have it for the full experience for Xbox One. You can't sell Xbox One without Connect. A year later, yeah, we'll start selling Xbox Ones without Connect. We're sorry, right? You can't lend games anymore. Everything's DRM locked. And then PlayStation comes out with a commercial the next day. The next day at E3 showing full freaking loanability of their games, right? Like they bungled that launch so much. And again, I don't think they've ever really recovered. Not fully. You know? Um, it sucks that all these people are losing their jobs. 9,000 people, but they've got to find a way out of this.
Yeah.
Jay's just over here silent, shaking his head.
Like I don't know. I think the whole system is broken. I think back in the day you had game developers that like legit were nerds that loved playing video games, that loved making video games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that nowadays like, oh, nowadays the kids don't care. I'm not saying that. But now I've seen this like mindset of when you have a startup, your number one goal is to get big enough to be bought out. Period.
And that's, well, we want to go down that road. I'm going to put a pin in that particular topic for just a second, because I may start a new topic on this. The crappy thing is that the system used to work really, really well, right? Is that game developers would make games, and then game publishers and gaming companies would pay them for the games that they made, and then start over again, right? And I think we see this again where corporate consolidation is just bad. Corporate consolidation is not a good thing, right? And every time it happens, everybody loses. Somebody in the YouTube chat is making a joke, and it's a classic Seattle joke, and I'm gonna talk about this, right? So back in the day, Seattle has always been a company town, right? It's always been a company town. And back in the day, there was a billboard when we thought Boeing was going to blow up, right? And lose, leave town for good, right? And so consequently, somebody put up this billboard with the last person leaving Seattle, please turn out the lights. So we thought Boeing's going to leave and Seattle was going to die, right? So somebody in the YouTube chat said, well, the last person leaving Redmond shut the server down. I don't think it's to that point. Microsoft as a company is doing fine. Okay? Microsoft's doing great. $245 billion in revenue last year, $109 billion in operating income, up 24%. Microsoft is doing fine. Corporate consolidation is bad because when people are managing individual department P&Ls, they're going to cut to make their bonus. Right? That's how this shit works. Okay? Corporate consolidation is bad. Right? It just is. It always has been. Okay? It sucks. It really, really sucks. And what happens is people lose their jobs. It's bullshit. Anyway, that was a fun topic to open the evening with, Jay.
Yeah, I wanted something light,
Something
something
fun.
that would just like, a fun topic. Yeah, just kind of bring everyone out of
all right.
depression.
On that, so you're talking about people being bought out. The issue is tech, right? And I'm going to blame tech people and engineers, right? Because the problem is you have to get investors. Anybody who's gone out to get investors knows a few facts. One of those facts is, one of the things the investors want to know is, what's your exit strategy? And by that means, how am I getting my money back, right? There's two common ways to tail out your exit strategy. One is IPO. We're going to IPO, and that's where you're going to get your monies back, Mr. Investor, because our IPO will be for $2 billion, right? The second one is buyout. Our exit strategy is Google buys us, Oracle buys us, Microsoft buys us. But unfortunately, in the investor market, and tech companies fucked this all up, okay? Because tech companies got investors into this mindset of these, not 2x, not 3x, but 10x, 50x, 100x returns on their investments, right? And so anything less than that, anything that's like a normal business, fuck that, right? They just won't do it. And it sucks. I blame tech companies. It's all your fault. Chase thinking, he's like, can I disagree?
I think a huge part of it is conglomerates that do go around buying up a shit ton of companies. Because something that I have noticed personally is every 3 years you're supposed to move. So you're supposed to move to like a sister company or whatever. And that's how you move up in these type of companies. this is the company I currently work for, and I've been told this many times, like every 3 years, try to move.
And how long have you been there now?
3 years. But your president, like your president is changing every 3 years, and no one is sticking around because like they care very specifically about this company.
No.
They're like, how can I come in and how can I like reduce costs in the next 3 years? Like, fuck year 4. Fuck it. Don't care. How can we become so lean that I'm going to make like our corporate overlords happy? I'm going to get promoted. And then the next president comes in and goes, fuck, we're way too lean. Let's lay off some people. I don't know, or like move jobs over from Seattle to India or whatever. To try to increase headcount, but also try to reduce costs. It's this like vicious cycle of like no one's there for the long-term plan. Everyone has a 3-year plan.
Nope.
And I think that's horrible.
Well, and I've been interviewing HR people, right, to hire an HR person. And I do things a little differently when I hire my HR people. I asked them one question. I said, when we're hiring people, we're trying to recruit and retain, what's the number one thing that we have to recruit and retain people, right? And I want to see what that HR person says. And any answer besides the one that I'm about to give you is the wrong answer. Money. Fucking pay them. Okay? Because workers now are fucking well aware that companies have no loyalty, zero fucking loyalty to the workers. They will lay motherfuckers off. Look what we just talked about with Microsoft, right? Fucking pay them. Because they need to get as much money as they can before this whole thing falls apart. And they have to move on, right? And I was talking to somebody else. They were like, well, will they jump for this? I'm like, no. They'll jump for 50 cents an hour, okay? Because they don't care, okay? And I don't blame them. Full stop. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
That's it. Anyway. Happy topics. Moving on.
Yeah.
I actually thought of something that I heard this last week that I'm actually really excited about. So I'm going to throw it in here, right? So, after much anticipation and the whole drama over at Amazon MGM with the Amazon execs fighting with the Broccolis about the future of James Bond and everything else. Oh my God, when are we going to get another stinking Bond? And everyone's like, who's going to head up Bond, right? We finally have an answer. Denis Villeneuve is going to direct the next James Bond film at Amazon. So we know he's done with Dune after Dune Messiah, right? But this is the guy that did Blade Runner, Arrival. Now is what's going to be 3 Dune movies. I basically haven't seen anything of this guy's that's not good, right? Like, he's going to direct the next James Bond movie for Amazon MGM Studios. Jay, what do you think of this choice for a director for James Bond?
When I think James Bond, I do not think Blade Runner or Dune. He did direct Sicario, which
Another
was
great movie.
Another great movie that's more, I think, in tune with what James Bond, like how I envision James Bond.
Yep.
But no, I mean, this guy has like I'm looking at it. This guy has a really great resume. So I'm sure it's going to be great. I would be kind of interested because all of his like very recent stuff, Dune, Blade Runner, Arrival. I'd be really interested if he can like bring on like a different, I don't know, style or feeling of James Bond that we haven't seen. If that makes sense. Like James Bond movies are they're not as bad as Mission Impossible movies, but they kind of do all feel the same, if that makes sense.
And that was kind of what happened with the last iteration of Bond is they went really dark, right? It was very gritty, very realistic. The Daniel Craig Bond was not fantastical really at all. My only concern with this pick is my personal hope prior to this was they were going to go back to kind of like a classic Bond, less gritty, more fun, right? A guy who likes being the debonair guy who, drinks and hooks up and does the thing. And, Pierce Brosnan and Sean Connery are my two favorite 007s, right? And both of them had this humor to them, right? That Daniel Craig did not have, right? The Daniel Craig Bond was not amused ever at anything, by anything. So I was hoping that Amazon was going to kind of go back a little bit and do that, which I don't think Denis Villeneuve is going to do, right? I don't see that. That being said, he is an auteur filmmaker. You're right. Maybe he will bring us a Bond we've never seen before. What I hope is it's not a retread of this gritty Daniel Craig, like grumpy ass Bond that we've had for the last number of years.
or it just might be some of the same.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting pick.
I think it's a solid pick. Who's the new James Bond?
They haven't said yet. They just announced the director, and Denis Villeneuve's going to have some say in that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So now that we know, it was actually a good one. So GB News has this 3 front runners for 007. Here are the 3 front runners. That's a really weird group. Tom Holland, Jacob Elordi, and Harris Dickinson, or Timothy Chalamet. I don't like any of those. I like none of them. No. I just don't see it. Yeah, I really don't. I don't like any one of those.
Yeah.
I think I like Idris Elba Twitch chat, but I think he's too old. He's 52. Like if they'd gotten to him, hell, even 10 years ago, right? Because whoever you pick for your Bond, you need at least 7 to 9 years, because you need at least 3 movies out of them before you change again. And that takes 7 to 9 years. And so I don't think Idris Elba at the age of 52 is going to sign on for 7 years. Ooh, somebody in the YouTube chat just brought up a really good one. Nicholas Hoult. That one I would, yep. I love that idea. Absolutely love that idea. Lex Luthor and James Bond? What? And Beast? Yes, let's go. Nicholas Hoult. Ooh, I hadn't thought of that. That's a good one. And he is British. And he's a good actor.
So this is really interesting. I'm reading this like kind of article from GQ about Tom Holland. Yes. Which he is young. Like he could do a trilogy of James Bond movies just fine. I think he could also like maybe bring some of that lightheartedness of James Bond that you're kind of wanting.
He's too short.
He is really short, but something that's really interesting is that it says that he pitched doing a James Bond origin story. James Bond is like a lot younger, I guess, like kind of being trained. He pitched it, it didn't work out, and that's actually what gave him the lead role of Uncharted. But that would be kind of interesting, like a younger James Bond.
Yeah.
who's
It
not really all that good and kind of stumbles every now and then.
It could be.
Man,
Somebody in Twitch chat saying Holt's too skinny. You can make anybody big. Look, seriously, go watch what Hugh Jackman does for Wolverine appearances. He's not that big normally, right? He's talked extensively about the 6 to 9 months worth of work that he puts in to get that big again every time he goes back to play Wolverine. Nobody's really, very few people are really naturally that big, right? So again, Nicholas Holt, you could beef him up, but I don't think, I don't think Bond needs to be burly per se. I can't think of really a burly Bond we've ever had.
no, no.
Yeah, I mean he's in shape, but I don't think that's a requirement for the character. I think Nicholas Holt is my favorite. That's a good one, and he's young enough to where he could do it for 10 years.
That is also true. Yeah.
He's like 35, so signing a 10-year deal to do that. Now I don't know if his schedules. I don't know what his schedule's going to look like with DC stuff. With him tagged to play Lex Luthor, I don't know what kind of deal he signed with Warner Brothers to play Lex, so that could get in the way as well. But we'll see. Anyway, thought that was some interesting movie news, so wanted to throw that in there. Let's see, what else do we have? Do a new Moonraker. That would be a lot of fun. I would be okay with that. I would be okay with that. Anyway, if you have joined us for a little while, go ahead and drop your topic questions or ideas in the chat. If you have anything you want us to talk about today, we'd really appreciate it. I would love to talk about some stuff. So, and we apologize for being gone so much. Retro Space is having a moment with Fantastic Four and Superman. I don't know how retro Superman's going to be. I think it's going to be a more classic view and a more positive Superman, a more upbeat Superman than we got out of the Snyderverse. But I don't think it's going to be retro. Fantastic Four is obviously like an alternate 1960s Earth. So yeah, that's very Atomic Age retro. That's what they're going for sure. Again, we're going next Tuesday, so I'll let you know after we watch the movie what we think. The initial impressions and reviews have been great. Great. So, also, they released that clip where Superman goes after Lex and he's like, "Where's Crypto?" And I'm like, did he John Wick Crypto? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, my wife, it was really, really kind of weird because it was like 2 days before we got that clip. She was like, because I was showing like my nephew all the Superman trailers. And my wife like is sitting there and she goes, "I swear if they do anything bad to the dog, I'm gonna lose my shit." And then like 2 days later, that like kind of clip came out. Where's Crypto? And she's like, "I swear to God."
They're gonna. You do not want a John Wick Superman. Okay? You
I
stole
don't
his
know.
car and killed his dog. You killed his dog. What? Don't do that. Did you learn nothing from John Wick, Lex Luthor?
Maybe that's how we get a really angry anti-Superman. Everyone's mad at him for saving the world all the time, interfering with wars that he quote shouldn't be involved in. His dog gets kidnapped, and then all of a sudden he's just like, you know what?
Fuck it.
Fuck it. I'm gonna laser beam this fucking planet to death.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, dog dad. Which I will say, I was thinking about this in my wilderness solitude that I had, and I was like, what is my issue? Because I was talking to my nephew about superheroes, and he also is a Superman fan, and I was like, where did like my dislike from Superman actually come from? And I actually think because I grew up with the animated like Batman TV show, and I grew up with the animated Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
And in the animated Justice League, haven't seen it in like, I don't know, 25 years. But from what I recall, that Superman was very stiff. and he was like a Boy Scout that always did just like the perfect right thing. Um, and just super did not like interest me at all. Like he had like very little emotion, and he was like, "No, Bruce, we should do the good thing." And Bruce is like, "I'm Batman. Stop saying my first name in
Bruce was
public."
like, you're a bitch. Shut up.
I mean, pretty much. So I think that's where like actually just kind of segue right there. Fun fact, I think that's where I started like not liking Superman was actually the animated show.
Okay, I can feel that. Russian Superman. Yep. Red Sun. That was a good comic series. Where what if Superman landed in the Soviet Union instead? Right. That's actually a really good omnibus that I recommend. The Red Sun series is interesting. It's a fun look at a what if for Superman, and I like that. Um, Sticking on the subject of movies, I'm gonna talk about two things here, right? And I had mentioned this movie a while ago on the show, okay? Um, and what I want to say to start with is basically almost without fail, if I see a Stephen King adapted work that is not a horror film, right? It's pretty much guaranteed to be a banger, right? Like, it's going to be awesome. Let's run through the list, shall we? Stand By Me, Shawshank, Green Mile, right? Just go down those lows, okay? So, when I heard that Tom Hiddleston was starring in a Stephen King adapted work called The Life of Chuck, right? I was like, oh, I got to see this. This looks interesting. And I watched the trailers and I was like, huh, these are interesting, but I can't quite tell what this movie is about, right? I can't quite get there. But I'm going to go see it because, again, non-horror Stephen King, adapted, yep. Like, I'm going to give it a shot, right? Why? Because everything else has been so good, right? And I went and saw Life of Chuck, and I texted Jay after I saw it. And Jay, I don't think has still seen it yet, but
No.
I will tell you this right now. It is one of the top 10 movies I've seen in the last 5 years without breaking a sweat, right? It's called Life of Chuck. That's right. There's somebody in the chat named Chuck, right? And it is absolutely fucking phenomenal. It's got a great cast. Chiwetel Ejiofor, Karen Gillan, Mark Hamill, right? Who is playing a role that you wouldn't see, right? Nick Offerman doing the narration of the film, right? Like, it is start to finish just a great movie. And it's one of those ones you got to sit with. You're going to sit there and watch it and be like, what did I just watch? Right? Now, to be fair to the movie-going audience, because I'm about to yell at you in a minute, movie-going audience, I don't know how you market this movie, right? For me, a big movie fan, I go, okay, Stephen King, Tom Hiddleston, good-looking cast, I'm going to go see this movie, right? I don't know what it's about, but I got a good feeling. And I got a good feeling. And I was like, oh, it'll be good. Like, and even like Green Mile was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. This movie was fucking phenomenal. It was so fucking good. Like, I still am thinking about how good this movie is. Right? And is Hiddleston as good as he is in Only Lovers Left? Better. Even though he doesn't come in until the second act of the movie. It's, and you watch this movie in the first third, you're like, what is happening? Oh, Matthew Lillard's in this movie. Like, it's just got stacked with people. And there's so many little details as you go through it. You're like, oh, in fact, I wanted to go see it. I just haven't had time. I was going to go see it again to see what I missed the first time I watched it. Because at the end, I was like, I'm sure I missed stuff. I'm 100% positive I missed stuff. Here's where I'm going to get mad. Okay? Because I hear movie fans, and movie pundits, but movie fans too, all the time. Everything's a Marvel movie. Everything's this. Everything's that. Everything's this. Why can't you guys do something new? Why can't we do something different that's not Marvel, that's not an action, that's not Fast and Furious? Mission Impossible, derivative. Motherfucker. This movie made $8.4 million. Which, let me explain to you in the world of movies, that is nothing. Nothing. Right? They lost their buttholes on this movie. Okay? It's made squat. Everybody gripes about nothing new, nothing original. Everything's derivative. Everything's crap. It all has to be this big action blockbuster. Right? This is the opposite of an action blockbuster. This is the opposite of a Marvel, MCU, DCU, direct. All this shit you people complain about, but nobody saw the fucking movie. Except for like me and like 4 other people. Right? So, I'll say we get these great movies. Right? Why do you think, Jay, nobody fucking watches them?
Well, a few things. One, marketing. It's like you said, it's very easy to market a Marvel movie or even Wicked, Superman, anything that you can have like a display of like at Target is kind of like what I'm thinking. If you can create merch and sell it, it's probably going to be pretty good. And then also, I mean, the reason why Marvel movies do so well is that's just like what the general population really is like looking for. Like, I don't know. No one, I think like one, yes, it's marketing. And then second, the majority of people do want these like action films that they can take their children to. Like you can take your daughter to a Marvel movie and you're going to enjoy the Marvel movie. Where you might not really enjoy the My Little Pony Princess movie. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I could get into like a whole kind of rabbit hole of like.
That's where we're at. Let's rabbit hole it. We got time. You guys. And while we're rabbit holing, go and throw in those topics, folks. Because I love somebody in the Twitch chat just did a great Jay and Silent Bob quote, right? From Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. You got to do the safe picture. Then you do the art picture. Then sometimes you got to do the paycheck picture because your friend says you owe him. Love that. Love that quote. Absolutely love that. So thank you for throwing that in there.
Nice.
Go down your rabbit hole.
Here we go. I think we have fucked ourselves. Sorry, put the children away. Go ahead and pause this if you're.
We're demonetized. We're demonetized.
I think we have fucked ourselves. Our attention span is getting shorter and shorter. No one can sit, or I can't say no one. The majority of people cannot sit through a hour and a half or 2.5 hour movie. That's a super deep movie that doesn't have like, I don't know, fucking explosions and transformers coming out of, you know, someone's tits. I'm sorry, but yeah, I think that's like kind of where we're at is the majority of people do not have the attention span to sit through these like really in-depth like movies that make you question and go, holy shit, like, am I an alien? You know, like, I don't know. That's my like personal thought, because we're all conditioning ourselves every single day to scroll on social media. And I think the majority of people don't realize it, but you're doing it to yourselves and you think it's making yourself happy, and it's fucking not.
And here's the thing. I am one of those people. I spend a lot of time on social media. I spend a lot of time on the TikToks and the blah, 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 blah. And yes, I have in recent months found myself getting bored at movies where I'm like, come on, speed it. Let's go. But when I think about like when I went and saw Life of Chuck, right? It was the first time I'd been to a movie in a long time, and not once did I go, how much longer is this movie? Right? Like I was riveted the whole fucking film, right? And the best way I can describe it is a meditation on life, right? But it doesn't feel preachy. And it's also not negative. It's a positive meditation on life that makes you feel better about life and death. Like, and again, I wasn't bored at all, right? What I'm saying is how do you convince people to go back? I don't necessarily think you're wrong, but again, I think that there are great films out there that I think would bring people back to the cinema. How do we get them back in the fucking door?
I don't know. I mean, that is probably a multi-million-dollar question. Maybe a billion-dollar question.
Now, I will say this, to be fair, for this year's box office stuff. I'm actually a little surprised. So by this point last year, we had movies joining the $1 billion club, right? Now, mostly they're all derivative. This year, we have not, right? That Neja 2's box office is very much in question because it's not independently verified. So while Box Office Mojo is reporting it as reported, please note that Neja 2 is not verified. So let's go to our top one after that. Minecraft movie didn't hit $1 billion. Did well, extremely well. Lilo and Stitch, I'm surprised that hasn't hit $1 billion, but it's only $50 million away. It's still in theaters. I think it's going to break it. And then it's a big jump down. Mission Impossible, 563. How to Train Your Dragon still out. I think it'll get to 6. Captain America really underperformed. Thunderbolts, for as good as it was, and it was a great fucking movie, probably the best MCU movie in the last couple of years, it really underperformed. Sinners, I think, did about what it was supposed to, but again, you're talking Snow White as the top 10, like in the top 10 this year so far. Like, it's going to fall out because of F1 is going to jump over it. But Mickey 17 came out this year. Again, newer stuff, different things, and nobody fucking saw it. Karate Kid Legends derivative, but again, good. Elio, I think Elio, we're going to see what kind of wings, what kind of legs Elio has. That's going to be interesting. Somebody in the Twitch chat mentioned the episode 3 re-release, which did very, very well for them. It made $55 million, and I too went to see it, mostly because I wanted my daughter to see Star Wars in a movie theater. Because it's a different experience in the movie theater. Yeah. I don't know, but here's the other thing. Again, I'm going to come back to this. If you are out there griping about people, about what Hollywood's making, Hollywood's going to make what you're paying them to make. And if all you pay them to make is the Minecraft movie, that's all they're going to make, right? You have to go see the other ones. It reminds me of the Zemeckis one I saw last year that nobody else saw. It was Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, right? Reuniting for the first time since Forrest Gump. Great cast, all this thing. Robert Zemeckis. It was a great movie, and nobody saw it. What did that movie make last year? I'm now curious. It made fuck all. Probably made more than Life of Chuck. Yes, but not by much. It made, drum roll please, this is Robert Zemeckis doing Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. It made $16 million. $16 million for a Tom Hanks movie. Stop saying Hollywood's not making original movies. They're making great movies. They make lots of movies. Nobody fucking sees them. Go watch movies, people. They're good. And if you haven't seen it, in fact, I'm going to do this right now. Right? When is it going to come to streaming? Probably soon. Um, when? Uh, trying to see when. No word on when it's going to come to streaming. When it comes to streaming, please watch it. Please watch it. Okay, I'm telling you. Oh wait, maybe you can watch it now. I think you can get it on Apple now. On iTunes. Um, yeah, so great. Go rent that movie. Pay to rent that movie because it's A, that good, and B, give them some of that money back. Um so the
Yeah.
entire country's in a depression, possibly. They're all sad. This is why you need to watch movies like Life of Chuck, because it's life affirming and happy. You'll feel better at the end.
Look, I don't know why you guys do this. Okay, you guys get Alex all wound up. Just go watch the shitty movies so that the shitty movies can get better, and then the shitty movies become mainstream, and then they become the next Marvel movie.
And look,
Yep.
we've had this discussion a bunch of times on this show.
We have.
The first Transformers movie. I love that movie.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's so good. It's terrible, but it's so good. Bad Boys. That's my franchise. I love that franchise. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence can get it. I will watch that thing over. Yeah, somebody in the chat, the AC-130 scene alone. Yeah, the big air support scene at the beginning when they're fighting, it's great. Okay, love that movie. Bad Boys, love it. It's not bad to like schlock. Okay, but occasionally go see something good. Somebody in the YouTube chat has for you, Jay. What TV or film has depicted Florida the most accurately in your view?
So there's a couple of true crime documentaries.
Okay, not true crime.
I'm sorry. Shit. Okay. That's a great question. Ooh, TV show. There was like a TV show. I can't remember. Oh, what was that? It's on Netflix. I don't think I finished it. It was actually a pretty funny TV show. I don't remember why I stopped watching. Probably because my attention span is too short because I watch Marvel movies. What? Fuck. Netflix go go down to Florida. Hang on, I'm gonna have to try to find this.
While we're doing that, I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna answer the other one. Somebody asked earlier. Favorite summer food. Trying to find the question. Favorite summer lunch item. I'm gonna just expand that to favorite summer food because lunch is not extensive enough. So to this, I have a favorite summer dessert, and it is fresh cut strawberries on top of angel food. You know those little angel food cake pucks?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, that you buy at the grocery store. Fresh cut strawberries over the angel food pucks with whipped cream on top. That is my summer dessert. I eat it every summer. I love it. It's absolutely delicious. As far as summer lunch item, it's all the stuff that I like eating normally. It's just I make it outside. You know, a good tomahawk, man, in the summer. Put that on the grill and grill that for a couple hours. It's solid. Brats, burgers, chicken. I don't care. Stuff.
I will say, while I was on vacation, I went and had really famous because we flew into Chicago and then we drove up to Michigan. So we stopped in and had the most famous deep dish pizza in Chicago. And it was good. It wasn't the best pizza I've ever had. Sorry, Chicago. And then I got to Michigan. My nephew was like, you have to have a Coney dog. That's like Michigan's #1 hot dog is this Coney dog. And I was like, and they make fun of the Seattle dog. They're like, that's disgusting. Ew.
No,
And then
no.
and they were like, we're gonna go take you to have a real hot dog. Um,
I
have
will
this Coney
battle with
dog.
motherfuckers over the Seattle dog.
Well, the thing was, like, I got this Coney dog, right? And I was like, this is a chili cheese dog. It's like it's legit just a chili cheese dog. My nephew was like, there's no cheese on it. And I was like, okay, it's just like a chili dog with onions and mustard. Like that's it. And then my brother was like, well, there's no beans in the chili. And I'm like, why are you putting beans on your chili non-cheese dog? And I was like, what? I was like, this is like the Michigan's hot dog. I'm sorry if anyone's from Michigan. I was like, this is nothing special. This is like what I used to go get like a really cheap bag of like hot dogs and then get like the 89-cent can of like, chili without the beans just to put on your hot dogs, like a very cheap chili cheese dog. Um, I do love the Seattle dog and I will die on that hill.
I will die on that hill too.
Oh my God, it's named. Okay. I
He
can't
found
believe
it. He
I got
found it.
this. Okay, so this is how I found this because I knew that Clark Gregg was in it, who was
I love Clark Gregg.
yeah,
Agent Coulson.
yeah. So I was like, okay, he's in it. Let me look up what he's been. So it's legit called Florida Man on Netflix. It came out in 2023. I didn't watch all of it, but I just remember there was like a few scenes where like my wife and we would look at each other and be like, yep, that's Florida. So yeah, if you want to check that out, it's a little called Florida Man.
Have I been to the Everett Dicks yet? Of course we have. Of course. They opened that thing. It's right near my house. I had some visitors from my work who came up from California, and so we got them dicks and Seattle dogs and teriyaki, and I was like, this is Seattle.
I still have not had this teriyaki.
um, in other movie news, actually, here's a fun one. You remember that movie, The Social Network, written by Aaron Sorkin?
Yep.
They are making a sequel.
Oh,
Written by Aaron
really?
Sorkin.
Okay.
Right? How do you feel about this? I think it's an interesting thing because I think he put Facebook into its place with that movie. I'm curious what he can do now.
So like, is it still Facebook or is it like Twitter?
Supposedly it's going to focus on the Facebook product manager turned whistleblower.
Oh,
Who leaked the Facebook papers. All the stuff
okay.
with Cambridge Analytica, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. This is going to be epic. I'm excited.
Yeah. And it's somebody in the chat's YouTube chat saying a Sorkin sequel. Yeah, apparently Aaron Sorkin can make a sequel. I think it'll be the first time he's done it, but yes, he will write a sequel. Yeah, I'm curious how he's going to interpret this now because he's got to have a hate on for these motherfuckers now. Like he didn't think highly of them when he wrote The Social Network.
Ooh, yeah. But I mean, like they deserve it. So
Yeah, but I'm just kind of curious what he's going to do now. And it is Aaron Sorkin, so it's going to be biting. Right? What else do we have? Right. I think if there was anything else. I've been seeing some news over the last couple of weeks, but I just hadn't gotten around to like putting out to the rundown document. So like we're covering everything that happened in the last 3 weeks while Jay was off in the wilderness and I was stuck in work hell. I want a Tropic Thunder sequel. So the rumor is they are working on specifically a Les Grossman spinoff.
Oh God.
With Tom Cruise. That's been rumored for a long time. I know that Tom has said he wants to do it. I just don't know where it is in the development process. So, it's a good question. I don't know.
That's gonna be interesting. That's like a movie that I swear I don't know if we've talked about it on this show, but I've talked about it with so many people where it's like that movie could not be made today.
Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, I do agree.
Best
Best
Tom
Tom
Cruise
Cruise
role.
because it's not a role. I feel like they're just like Tom Cruise, go be Tom Cruise, and he's like, okay.
Um, yeah, I'm curious. So again, I think them doing the Les Grossman thingy. Um, again, we're getting Spaceballs 2, which is really all that matters. Okay, I mean, and Mel Brooks is gonna come back and play Yogurt, and they're
Oh,
dragging Rick Moranis out of retirement. Right? I don't know how they convinced him, but they're dragging him out of retirement to play Dark Helmet.
there was this money.
Okay.
That's how they did it.
I don't know, dude. He's been pretty happy, like, not doing anything.
Yeah, until the
And
money runs.
and his residuals have got to be pretty good.
That's fair. Yeah.
Uh, remake Blazing Saddles. I think that would be great.
Oh, that's like my wife's favorite movie.
Oh, here we go. Here's a good one because this one was in Deadline of Variety the other day, and this might get our chat going a little haywire. Because obviously we have some people in our chat who think they should reboot Star Wars, which we've addressed that topic on the show multiple times. We're not going down that road again. But on a related note, there is rumors, these are rumors right now, that Disney is considering giving it some breathing room, but wants to begin developing on a full-blown, straight soup to nuts reboot of Indiana Jones.
Oh, they've tried.
No,
What?
not
They've tried.
no, full-blown reboot, recast everything,
Okay, yeah. But
start
yeah,
over.
I thought when they introduced his like maybe possible son.
It was his son, Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, that wasn't supposed to be a reboot. That was supposed to be a passing of the torch, and then Shia LaBeouf went crazy. But let's put that aside. And Crystal Skull did underperformed. And obviously Dial of Destiny did as well. But, Jay, 2 questions for you. 1, assuming they're going to give it some breathing room. So let's say they're going to start development now. They get a script in 2027, somewhere around 2029. So you get 5 years. Do you reboot Indiana Jones? And if so, do you think it will work? Like, do you think that kind of serial adventure, like let's focus on the original trilogy, right? Raiders, Doom, Last Crusade. That kind of serialized adventure story. Will movie-going audiences go see it?
I think the very basic story. Yes. And by the way, I did watch this new Amazon movie, um,
The one with Krasinski?
Fountain of Youth.
The one with Krasinski and Natalie Portman that everybody said was a dumpster fire.
I liked it. But it's very I don't know, like it has kind of the same feel without it being Indiana Jones at all and completely different, if that makes any sort of sense. But so I think like yes, you could do it. My only thing uh like Indiana Jones to me, like it couldn't be Indiana Jones how he originally was. You need to change the character up a little bit to fit the modern day like moviegoer. And I say
Sensibility, yeah.
yeah. Like I say that because like
Okay, so what do you change?
so to me Indiana Jones was a very like it felt like kind of like Indiana Jones was like a cowboy. Like it was almost like this really weird like Western movie that had nothing to do with the Western feel. But like you would have to like take that backstory, I feel like, away from him because I don't feel like moviegoers like the younger audience cares about like a whole like Western kind of feel of a guy. Does that make any sense at all? What
Kind
I'm
of. So
saying?
so here's my question, right? And somebody in the chat brought this up. Indy is always at his best when he was beating up Nazis and finding ancient cool shit, right?
Yes.
So, do you let's pretend Bob Iger calls Jay tomorrow. Jay, we're gonna put
Yeah.
you as the executive producer here, lead development at Lucasfilm for the Indiana Jones reboot. Do
Awesome.
you go back and set it in the 1930s, or do you do a more modern sensibility to it?
Hmm. All right. So one, I would hire this guy named Alex. I would have him
Appreciate
come
it.
out game. Um uh see me personally, like I would stick him with fighting Nazis. Me personally. Now there's going to be this really weird conversation and like probably some sort of decision matrix of some sort of like all the other options that you could have Indy like go up against, but that I would be very interested to see. But like I don't know, like I think the chat is right. Like Indy's always at his best when he's fighting the Nazis, and then sometimes yelling at his dad. But uh, so like the kid in me is like, no, you keep it very like accurate to like Indiana Jones. But okay, so if it's not Nazis, like who would it be? Like
So
who do you think we could change it to?
so there's two ways I think you can do this, and I think it really depends on where you start the story. So for me, I was a big fan of the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, the show, right?
What?
Yes.
Wait, what? What does this mean? What?
Did you never watch this?
There's a TV show?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was great. Okay.
Indiana
Oh,
Jones.
fuck. Harrison Ford could play Indy's dad. Oh, that would be fucking hilarious. Okay, that has to happen. We have to have Harrison Ford play Indy's dad at some point. Okay. So Indiana Jones, the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles had two separate kind of time periods, right? It was Indy from the age of like 9 to 12, and then there was another set of the show that took place when Indy was like 18 to about 24, right? And it was kind of like, how does the archaeology professor become the freaking swashbuckling hero guy, right? And so it's these, as Indy's a young man and in college and doing this stuff, and they made a good TV movie out of it and stuff like that. And Sean Patrick Flannery was young Indy as in the older incarnation. I forget who the little kid they got was. Um, but it was a really fun show. Production value aside, because it was a TV show in the 90s, so they didn't have a lot of money. But it really was like a fun adventure series, right? And they had some good stories out of that. And periodically Harrison Ford would come in at the beginning and end of the episode, like he's telling a story when he's sitting in a rocking chair, right? Like legit, like, let me tell you about this time when I was 19 and da da da. Anyway, I almost, if I was going to reboot Indy, I would start him in his 20s, right? Like out, the day after he gets his PhD in archaeology, right? He's about to go start his first associate professor job at wherever. And instead of, and like, now he got drug into something and now he's got to finish this thing and race back to make it back for his first day being a professor. And that's the end of the movie. It's his first day being a professor, right? Like, I would almost go younger, right? Give me a younger Indy who just graduated, right? And has done some adventuring, but now he's really getting into it, right? And this is the place where he's going to make his mark, right? I also think that one of the problems Crystal Skull and Dial of Destiny had, and and hear me out here, I think that Indy's best when he's hunting for religious iconography. Right? The Lost Ark.
Uh, I
The
don't know
Last
if
Crusade.
it's
I really do. I don't know why. But anytime
well.
it's not like crazy, weird, like that shit, and it's like an alien skull or an ancient Roman Archimedes made time machine, um, I don't think it works.
I don't know if it's that. I think
Somebody in the chat saying pre-professor, maybe while he's in grad school or something. Sure.
that'd be kind of cool. I think they just went like way too crazy.
So
Like,
the shitty thing is with Crystal Skull, I saw what they were aiming for, right?
yeah,
The first three movies are the serials of the 1940s, right? That's what they're imitating. Crystal Skull is the serials of the 1950s, when our enemies are now the commies, and it's the atomic age, and aliens, and da 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 da, right? So if you look at radio shows and comics and stuff from the 1950s, that's what they were aiming at. I just think they missed the mark, right? Again, and then again, we fast forward again, now we're in the 1960s, right? And it's
yep.
the war stuff and everything else. So I think they were again trying to stay relevant to the eras that they were setting the movies in, but I just think that the last two in the 50s just didn't and 60s just didn't quite, they couldn't figure out how to crack that code in mixing it in with the archaeological stuff. Temple of Doom is the lesser of the first three to be. Yeah, everybody pretty much says that. Temple of Doom is while still good, is the worst of the original three.
I'm kind of I'm kind of thinking about this. I think what you could do is it could be one, a younger Indiana Jones, second, more modern day Indiana Jones, and you could have him do stuff like trying to maybe like he gets a part-time job over in Egypt and then he's trying to like stop like all the grave robbers and like all of the massive amounts of like artifacts that left Egypt.
This belongs in a museum.
Right. So
Very.
mainly trying to stop what was
Yeah.
his name?
Okay.
So I think like you could do that. Like I think that could be
Stopping
a
like
very
black
yeah.
market, like antiquities dealers and stuff.
Yeah. So he gets a job, he goes out there, and then he somehow stumbles into this like crazy mess, and then he sees that the British Museum is stealing all these artifacts.
I mean,
Um
you could really go with like an anti-hyper capitalist message, like it's all these rich fuckers that are trying to like hide all this stuff. And again, indie, this belongs in a museum, right? Not in your private collection, right? Like
yeah,
that gives
yeah.
him a moral compass to why he's stealing all this shit. You know, Professor Title's telling me someone is a cool guy. I want to see you doing cool shit. Um, so again, I guess what I'm gathering from our chat and us, and again, this is not just us. We're watching our chat right now. Is nobody's really opposed to this idea. Like nobody's saying no, don't do this.
Yeah. I'm I'm not gonna lie. I saw both more modern day Indiana Jones movies, both in
I
the
did too.
theater. I felt like they were missing from the original ones, but
I don't think Crystal
like
Skull is as bad as everybody thinks it is.
kind of liked it.
It there was overall, I thought it was fine. There was like the giant ants scene I didn't care for, right? And the monkeys I thought was dumb when they're swinging with the monkeys.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
Okay.
no, 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 thank you.
Have you
Um,
played the new Indiana Jones
I
game?
haven't. I've been meaning to, but again, this goes back to our discussion from earlier of, it's on my list, and everything I'm reading about, I'm like, that seems like kind of like fun, but it seems like so much work. Um, Somebody think keep the original formula. Nazis are really charge effects. So the biggest disagreement in our audience is, what do you do? Do you do something new that hasn't been done before? Or do you do the original formula? Unfortunately, I don't know which of those things is really going to appeal to the modern audience. It's going to be tough for them.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. So, I don't know. But again, it seems like everybody's kind of on. Everybody's kind of on board. Because we all like indie. I also think that was the problem with Dial of Destiny, is Harrison Ford had finally gotten old enough to the point where you're just like, I don't buy this.
Yeah.
I don't believe it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't believe this 78-year-old man is riding a motorbike around the streets of this Italian city and not breaking a hip.
Yeah.
I don't.
You could the this is not a serious pitch. But what you could do is he's younger, right? And he's having all these adventures. And then at the end of the movie, some people grab him and strap him down and force him to take his medications because he's like completely insane. And he's like, and then it kind of like shows like him just jumping on like cafeteria like tables and like screaming at people. And there was never no like at all, and he just like lost his mind.
No, yeah.
That would make everyone mad, but I'm not saying do it.
So chat's bring us back to that. Innovation is missing from Hollywood. Sadly, it's not. The funny thing is that innovation isn't missing. They make so many movies every year. I think what's really missing is the marketing channels are dead. So there's three things I think are missing, right? Back in the olden days, god damn it. Back in the 1900s, movies had a longer run up and a more concise and very manageable marketing scheme, right? You had trailers at the movies, you had TV spots, you had radio spots, you had newspaper ads, right? Now, and we've experienced this with our own show. We see this a lot with new media, with streaming and social media, is how do you create a marketing campaign that's going to go on TikTok or Instagram or wherever, that's not going to annoy the shit out of everybody before the movie comes out, right? And it's going to get through to everybody's head and make them go, okay, when this movie comes out, I must go see it, right? So I think that the biggest challenge you've actually got is one of marketing, right? How do you market movies in the modern thing? The other thing is, and this is one of my favorite film guys who I talk about all the time, John Campea talks about this. Unfortunately, Hollywood has trained the audience to wait for it to come to streaming, wait for it to come to streaming, wait for it to come to streaming. And Disney has started to get away from that, where they're like, no, we're doing full theatrical runs now. We're going 3 months, right? And it paid off for them. Look at Deadpool and Wolverine. Look at Lilo and Stitch. Look at the shit they've released. Inside Out 2. They've said, we're not doing this anymore, right? And I think the other studios have got to get back in the habit of, we're not throwing it on streaming 3 weeks after it's in theaters. Because again, you're training your audience not to go to the theater, right? So I think those are the two things. Again, Hollywood makes loads of great movies every year. That again, nobody sees. I watched one earlier this year. I'll give you an example. I talked about it last year when we were doing the show, right? And it was, dude, I was like, yes, give me a good action comedy, right? Like a good original action comedy, right? And they gave me one with Ke Huy Quan and Marshawn Lynch, right? Let's go back to the tape. It made $17.5 million because me and like 12 other people saw it, right? Completely original film. Nobody saw it.
What I can say is, so I've taken a couple of marketing classes and I'm in a marketing class right now. Um, yes, this is like a huge issue.
This is for your
Because, like,
MBA, right?
yeah, and they're acknowledging that like old school marketing is dying or practically dead, like what you mentioned, like newspaper ads, stuff like that. If you're trying to get the Gen Zers, right? Um, you can't use those like traditional means, and you have to. Everything is shifting, and everything's about to change, like supposedly in the next 10 years as like Gen Z takes over more and more of the market. Um, and like marketing now is really, you get your TikTokers to not do an ad, but to talk about like on a podcast and be like, so someone would approach and be like, hey, could you talk about Indiana Jones, the new movie, on your podcast and make it seem really cool and make it seem very fluid and authentic? And then we would try to convince a shit ton of people to go see this movie
Warner
without
Brothers, I'd
cutting.
be happy to take your money if you want me to
Yeah.
interview Rachel Brosnahan.
There you go.
I will shill for you
Nice.
for the opportunity to meet Rachel Brosnahan.
But yeah, I mean, so there is that. And then also there is a very weird shift in the mindset of Gen Zers. So the majority of Gen Zers, not all of them, but the majority, they're that are older, they're still living with their parents. Like they have no motivation to leave the house. They're trying to very, very weird, like trying to save money. I'm using like air quotes if you're listening to the audio only version, air quotes here, because they want to save money. They don't want to spend money on like this weird shit, like going and sitting in a movie theater. Like that's like a kind of that's becoming an old person thing. They want to save money and not to buy a house because they're perfectly fine living with their parents. But they want to travel and go to concerts and go to like music events more. So like my nephew is 21, lives with his parents. Um, and we were kind of like talking about going to like they were like, oh, like should we travel an hour and a half to go see F1? And it was just kind of like, why would we do that? And we kind of got into this conversation a little bit, but he was like, no, like I don't go see movies. Like, why would I go see movies when I can just save up money and then like go spend a weekend in New York City? And it's like, oh, well, shit. So yeah, it's a weird shift in like mindset. Um, yeah, I don't know. That's been my J Talks. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They're still seeing movies. Like, it's happening, you know. But I almost think that movies are almost becoming like rock concerts, right? So this is the other piece of it. And I think this is also why Marvel movies and like the big event cultural zeitgeist movies tend to make a lot of money still, is that they're like rock concerts, right? In that it's now, and especially with the price of it these days, unless you have A-list, and AMC, I'll take your money too. I'll shill for A-list every day. Uh, they're event things. They're cultural event things. Everybody had to see Endgame. Everybody wanted to see Avatar. Everybody wants to see this thing. You know what I mean? Um, so that's an interesting concept, right? Is that I think they're becoming more event thingies. I still need to go see F1. Um, chat, I'm not. We're not doing the Star Wars thing again. It's not happening. Um, why would I want to sit next to them while enjoying something while they live stream on their phone? Yeah, so I think that's very much a theater by theater experience. I'll say this. I have not had that experience lately because I think a lot more of those people are getting shamed, right? About using their cell phones in the theater, right? At least up here. I don't see people on TikTok doing any of that, like on TikTok or Twitter or anything like that during movies. Concerts are more of an event. I can go to a movie on a Friday. Like, I don't know. That's tough. All right. One last chance. We can go a little longer tonight. If you guys have any other topics you'd like us to discuss tonight, go ahead and throw them in the chat. Because we made you wait for our dulcet tones for a couple of weeks. Yeah. Actually, the last concert I went to, people were doing that. I was shocked, actually. The last concert I went to, how many people were sitting there with their phones up like this, recording on their phones. I'm like, you're recording shitty video on your phone. Right? Like, why? Why not just enjoy the concert? Have you noticed that?
A little bit, but this is gonna sound very depressing. I only go to concerts that older people go to, like The Offspring and one. But like, yeah, so things that like in my head, like I wouldn't think by the way, like would not consider like that an old person concert, but like I go there and the crowd is much older. You're not getting like young kids.
That's fair.
I mean, there's a few that and like me like from time to time, right? Like I'll pull my phone out, do like a quick little snippet, and like put it away. But yeah, there's no one just sitting there. I will say, I guess, like because we did go see Beyonce, um, which totally regretted. Um, there was a lot of that at like Beyonce. Now that I remember it, yeah.
Go. Again, chat. Anything else you guys have got? Somebody's talking about Guar and a good pit. I miss a good pit. The last one where I had a good pit was I saw Rancid and the Dropkick Murphys a few years back. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, we're getting into the good part of the summer with movies. We got a good run up with us. I'm looking forward to Fantastic Four. Do we have tickets for that? Didn't you already get us tickets for that too, Jay?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I'm pretty sure that was when I was like Alex.
I did the Superman, and I think you did Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I think that's what I did. I'm just gonna check it right now.
Because I think that was like Thunderbolts, where we couldn't get a list.
Yeah,
It was an early fan screening.
yeah, we have it. I.
What day do we go?
Oh wait. Oh shit. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong. I was like, wait, I only bought. But no. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we have tickets. It's for the special IMAX opening event. Early showing. Thursday, July 24th at 6 p.m.
I wonder if we'll get a present like we did for the Thunderbolts early showing.
We will. We're getting a Fantastic Four keychain, just like the Thunderbolts keychain. So we're gonna have a collection of keychains.
Topic idea. I could talk about. We're not going to talk about colonoscopies. I love you, brother, but we're not doing that. Because we really will get demonetized at that point, like real bad. All right, with that, barring some craziness, we are seeing fantastic. Oh no, we're seeing Superman on Tuesday. So we'll record an episode probably Tuesday night to put up about our thoughts and our spoiler talk, which will go out on probably the 10th. And then we'll do a regular show on the 11th, where we may do a little bit of replay of our spoiler talk and review. We'll do a quick review of Superman, which I am hopeful. I am hopeful.
It looks good. I'm pretty psyched about it.
I really do want, dude. They better to. He's gonna John Wick that dog. But Superman's gonna John Wick Lex Luthor.
Like what?
So does Krypton. Somebody agrees with your wife, Jay. Krypton better remain perfectly unharmed and get treats.
Yeah, that's
Based on that
Yeah.
last TV spot, I don't think so.
What would happen? Like what would happen if like legit Lex is like, I killed your dog, and Superman does just laser beam his head off and is like, fuck it. Like I like this is like it becomes like a dark Superman movie.
Not the direction I think James is going to go.
No, no, but
Just a thought. Not the way I think James is going to go. Over half the audience would quit and not return. I actually think that's true. I think if they harm, I think he could probably kidnap Crypto and be like, "We're going to experiment on the alien dog." But if you like really hurt Crypto, I really legit think that Chad is right. I think that people will leave.
well, with John Wick, they were like, no, we cannot kill a dog. They were like, that is a rule in movies. You do not kill a dog. And it was like this huge thing where they're like, dude, this movie's gonna like people are gonna hate this movie. They're gonna boycott it because we're killing a dog in like the first what like 20 minutes of the film. Like, because yeah, I think they're like coming out with like a behind the scenes like documentary of how like the John Wick movie was made because supposedly there was a shit ton
Yeah.
of drama that happened with all that. But
Oh, yeah, I heard
yeah,
about that. If they kill Crypto, they kill the DC universe probably. They're moving pretty fast. When does Lanterns come out? That's the one that I'm really curious about.
that one that one I'm very excited about.
Sometime next year, early 2026. That one I'm really curious about. Lanterns, I'm really interested in. And it's in the same universe, so it is a DCU project. Supergirl is coming next year as well. That's done. They wrapped. So they're doing visual effects now. I'm still waiting for them to announce Batman. Now, oh wait, here's my theory, by the way. I think he's going to announce Batman at Comic-Con this year.
That is a Comic-Con worthy announcement.
Also, Matt Reeves finally finished the script to Batman 2. To the Batman 2.
Yeah.
So we're going to get our second Sparkly Vampire Batman movie sometime.
Nice. Nice.
I really want to see it. He did such a good job as Batman. That was such a good fucking movie. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. Sparkly Vampire Boy did a good Batman.
He did. I was very against him being Batman, by the way, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll go see it." And it was like, "Okay, this is a really good Batman
It
movie."
was such a good Batman movie. Again, everybody was against Heath Ledger's The Joker too. This is ever since then. I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to doubt it anymore. I'm going to wait and see. You know, I really want to know who Batman's going to be because that really, to me, is going to set the tone. You've got Superman, and we're about to see how well David Corenswet does as Superman, and I haven't seen him in enough stuff to judge. So let's presume though that he's a passable Superman. Who your Batman is honestly probably more important, wouldn't you say?
Like more important than Superman?
Yeah, for the DCU.
Dang, you're gonna just really upset Dog Dad right now. Me personally, yeah, I 100% agree with that. As like a more of a Batman, well, way more than a Batman fan than Superman fan.
But I'm saying for
Yeah,
the sake of your overarching universe, I think your Batman casting is more critical.
yeah, because like Superman doesn't do anything. No, kidding. I'm kidding, Dog Dad. Um, yeah, yeah.
I don't think Wonder Woman is honestly that important. I just don't. I'm really sad because Ezra Miller was a good Flash, and I'm sad that they went absolutely insane and helped destroy the old DCU because they were a good Flash.
Yeah, yeah, I did like him as Flash. I've read more Flash comics than like
All right.
anything.
I got one for
Yeah.
chat for those of you, and there's still a bunch of you left in here. Here's my question for chat. What obscure, and I mean obscure to semi-obscure DC hero would you like to see DC throw in there in the first batch of films, right? We know we're getting Hot Girl. We know we're getting Mr. Terrific. We know we're getting Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. What is a hero that, again, is not that top tier? Not Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, but like that second level down of DC hero. Who would you like to see them like get into this universe?
Zantana.
Really?
Yeah. That's another like classic, like
that's a deep cut though these days.
Kind of like a I always thought like Batman and her were like dating on and off or something, but yeah. That's who I would pick. Personally.
All right. Santana, that's a deep cut. That's a really deep cut. Vigilante and Shining Knight, says one of the people in the chat. I'll be honest. I want a really good Constantine.
I almost said that.
Here's why. Because we need to make Superman vulnerable. Superman is vulnerable to magic. Right? We need to give him, do some stuff. And I love that weaving, because I think DC does it better than Marvel. It's one of the few things I think DC Comics do better than Marvel is weaving magic into the world. Right? Marvel does not do good at mixing magic in. They struggle with it a lot. They can do it, but it's not as good. But man, Constantine, that would be really, really fun. I want to see a really good Constantine. Followed up, or I like the Green Arrow. Bring me a Green Arrow back. Right?
Yeah.
Give me Oliver Queen.
Yeah.
But yeah, Constantine. That's the one I want to see.
Nice.
Did you know that Lucifer show they made was the DC Comics Lucifer?
I did not. No.
Yes, it is. And when they did the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover for CW, he was in it.
I did not know that.
Yes, so the Lucifer show that they did with Tom, what's his name? That is the DC Comics Lucifer.
And that, if you haven't seen that show, that is
it's a good show.
Yeah.
But it's the DC Comics Lucifer, and in the Crisis one, he talks to John Constantine. Constantine comes back and is like, you owe me a favor. And he's like, I'm the devil. I always repay my debts.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
I want Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was a good Constantine. They won't bring him back as Constantine. He's done it twice now on 2 different networks. I think you might get, James Gunn is cheeky. He might put some people in there from the CW shows, right? As different characters. But like, I know I've seen a lot of people being like, Grant Gustin is the Flash in the new DCU. It's not going to happen. Just, nope. It will not happen. Stephen Amell will not be the Green Arrow in the new DCU. It's not going to happen. Somebody's sending me an IMDb title. Let's take a look. Hang on. All right, hang on.
Oh. Is this confirmed? What?
I've heard rumor about this. I want to see. No Arrowverse for the love of Christ. I liked the Arrowverse. It was fine. It was a TV network. Constantine 2. What do we got for news? Yeah, IMDb can sometimes be incorrect. I have heard that this is in development. And we know that James Gunn will do Elseworlds, right? Like he's doing with The Batman. The Batman is an Elseworld title for this. It's not part of the mainline DCU. It's that. So I wouldn't be shocked if they did a Keanu Reeves Constantine 2 as an Elseworlds. I don't think he'll bring Keanu as Constantine into the DCU. I don't think he's going to go that way. I doubt it. So, but who knows? He got Nathan Fillion to come back as Guy Gardner, So who the... It's James Gunn. I would like to see more of his Guardians folks reprising roles. I would love to see Bradley Cooper do some stuff for James, because he was such a good Rocket.
Yeah, I mean, that is Rocket. Like, yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Dave Bautista do something for him in the new DCU.
Yeah.
Right? I'm glad Momoa's getting to be Lobo. That's going to be fun. I think he's the primary antagonist in Supergirl.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, but he's playing Lobo.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. Pom Clementif, right? She was a great Mantis. The only one I don't care to see anymore is Chris Pratt. I'm pretty well done with Chris Pratt. I don't think he's done anything that I've liked since Guardians.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I mean, he was fine in the Jurassic World movies. Like, he was okay. He does a bunch of, like, he did Zero Dark. He's done a bunch of, like, military-related stuff that I'm like, eh. He's married to Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter now.
I think I do remember seeing something about that.
Like, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't care. Anyway, it's 7 minutes to 10. We love you all. We did an extra long show tonight. We'll be back next Thursday. Tune into the YouTube channel on Tuesday. We will post our Superman review that night. We should be done with it by 9 p.m. So, because I think our Superman showing is pretty stinking early. I have to leave work early to make sure I make it.
What time is it?
What time is our Superman tickets? Oh, maybe not. It might be a late night. 7 p.m. We have a 7 p.m. screening next Tuesday. So we'll still get it up that night.
Okay.
But so Tuesday, July 8th, 7 p.m., we will be sitting there ready to watch Superman. So, all right, folks. With that, we love you. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.